Hello everyone, this is Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and today we are taking a look at this really cool used Gibson from the year 2012. This is a Gibson 1964 J-160E reissue in its original sunburst finish. Famously played by the Beatles. John Lennon and George Harrison played both of these, or both of them played this model. And this is actually just based on the models that they played from 1964, back when Gibson gave them to play in their shows and on their recordings. So a very iconic acoustic guitar from the 1960s made by Gibson. And this is a really fantastic remake of that very model. Very cool guitar, very cool to have in the shop. So let's dive into the specs. We have got a laminated body construction, so that is kind of odd, if you will, because this is not a very cheap guitar, but that has to do with the fact that we have a pickup installed over here at the neck end, if you will, or like the fingerboard end, where the fingerboard goes into the sound hole, if you will. And that is actually just a P90 pickup. If you look in the sound hole, I don't think that you can see that very well, but that is just basically just a P90 pickup underneath. And so the reason that this entire body is then a laminated wood construction all just has to do with keeping the guitar intact, if you will. Because if the top was solid, it will basically just collapse in a matter of years, which would be bad. You don't want that to happen. And this model was really just made to be played through an amp. So it wasn't really meant or built to be played unplugged, although you can, but it definitely has a unique sound of its own. And on top of that, it also has ladder bracing. Maybe you can also see that here on the other end of the sound hole, if you will. You can see that brace that goes entirely straight, and that is indeed then indicative of this being a ladder braced guitar. So that then also gives this a unique sound compared to models with a normal bracing or like an X bracing, which is a lot more common on a lot of other acoustic guitars made by Gibson. So yeah, again, really cool to have that very unique tone that you can get running through an amp, which we will do in a few minutes. So we then also just got like a volume and a tone control over here on the top of the body, which is also a very unique look and a unique type of a feature. We have then got laminated mahogany back and sides, or I think that they are laminated. That would only make sense really, that those are also laminated. It would be kind of weird to then have a laminated top and then solid back and sides. So I'm guessing that this is indeed a all laminate body construction. You've got the 1960s style type of bridge with the adjustable saddle, which appears to be made out of some sort of a bone imitation material, maybe like micarta or something, or maybe tusk. Definitely looks a little bit too discolored to be real bone. But that is also a thing that you saw in the 1960s, especially in the early 1960s. Got this really cool unique shaped pickguard. It's kind of like not as big, but also not like teardrop shape. Very unique look. Again, in this really cool looking sunburst finish. Got some 3-ply binding on the top. On the back, single ply. Mahogany neck with kind of like a Les Paul-esque fingerboard with the trapezoid pearloid inlays, which is also then bound. As for the profiles, it's kind of like run-of-the-mill, like not too big and not too thin. Maybe a little bit more meat than your medium style neck, but nicely rounded. Kind of like a D profile, I would say, like C/D style profile. Very comfortable feeling and playing. And then we've also got that same material used for the nut that is used for the bridge, so I'm guessing also kind of like tusk or maybe micarta or something. Then with your Gibson headstock overlay with the original Gibson Cluson style tuners. One thing that is also good to know is that this has had a crack repair over here on the side. It's kind of difficult to see because it has been fixed, so it is totally intact, but over here where I'm kind of like going over it with my nail, that used to be a crack, but as you can tell, very nicely fixed, so no worries there, but it is there, so that is good to know. And then the last thing to mention, it also comes with its original hard showcase. So you really get the full package with this very cool Beatle inspired guitar. Very cool model, very unique, very cool tones that you get from this. Let's hear what it sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this 2012 Gibson J-160E 1964 reissue, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of cool acoustic guitars like these, or cool electrics, bass guitars even, all that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on the socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's hear what this Gibson J-160E 2012 1964 reissue sounds like. Going to be playing it through the Marshall JTM45 1966 Blues Breaker style amplifier. I'm not going to use an acoustic amp because that is not what they did back in those days. Those did not exist. So I'm just going to like play it through a normal amplifier, which they would also do back in those days. You really get some very unique tones, I can definitely tell you that. But first I'm just going to play it unplugged, and you can also hear what it sounds like with that ladder bracing and with the all laminate body construction, also a very unique sound. And then run it through the amp. So let's then get to that part and take this really cool and very unique Beatle inspired acoustic Gibson guitar, electro acoustic Beatle inspired Gibson guitar for a spin.